Well, a good Friday. Thank you for tuning in to the Gardeners Corner program, a Friday feature here on TV Channel 10, located on Channel 191 on Charter Communications and WKRX 96.7 FM. My name is Rob Hall. We welcome you into the Gardeners Corner program today, brought to you by T.G. Brooks Company, located in Timberlake, in business since 1936. I just want to say this about T.G. Brooks Company. They're nice, friendly people there to serve you, and you would be shocked and surprised at all the different things that they offer and sell at T.G. Brooks Company. So sometimes when you have the opportunity, just stop in and shop with them. They sell everything from mulch by the scoop to plumbing supplies, hand tools as far as shovels, rakes, hoes, convenience store supplies, country hams, ribeye steaks, the list goes on. And we are very appreciative of their support here on the Gardeners Corner program. Without further ado, I'd like to make welcome at this time, all the way from the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service, a man that divides his time between Person and Granville counties. Would you please make welcome the all-seeing, the all-knowing, the big kahuna himself, the man who teaches the Master Gardens course for Person and Granville County, the man who organizes the the specialty crop school. He gives seminars, he plays the clarinet. So without further ado, let's give it up for Mr. Carl Cantalupe.
Got to turn that siren off.
And a good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning, Rob.
And I'd like to say hello to Mr. Bill Lester, who is tuned in this morning to the Gardeners Corner program. He is one of our frequent listeners, along with a lot of other people, and we appreciate it very much. We certainly do. But as I said, Carl, he does a lot of things other than just the TV show, so he's more than a pretty face on the TV.
Well, I don't know about that.
But he does. He teaches the Master Gardeners course that is held starting in September, runs through November. If you'd be interested in taking that, just kind of keep it in mind, and we'll start talking about it more coming up in July and August. And he also puts on the specialty crop school that is held typically about the first Friday in March. And if you're interested in getting more information on the specialty crop school, you can call the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service offices for either Person or Granville counties. The number's 336-599-1195 or 919-603-1350. And they can give you all the information you need about the specialty crop school.
Right.
That will be here before you know it.
Right. Friday, March 4th here at the Person County Extension Office. And we'll have good speakers. We have Milton Ganyard from the Upchurch Farm in Cary that's going to talk about his operation, what he does. He's a direct marketer. He grows pumpkins, he has hay rides, petting zoo, all those kind of things. So if anybody is thinking of doing that type of thing, he's a master of diversification on his farm. So he's going to be talking about that. And then we have artisan Bill Cruz, who started an organization. I can't remember if I mentioned this last
You
week or
did.
not. Okay, all right.
But go right ahead with it again.
It's the well. Let's see. It's kind of an umbrella under an umbrella of different organizations. Southern Organic Female Farmers Association. That's one offshoot, and then there's another one, another organization under that. But basically, what he's done was the city of Henderson has given him about 15 abandoned houses and lots to do with it whatever he wants to do, because they're not bringing any tax revenue into the city. So what he has done is he's used these pieces of land, and he's actually gotten rid of, I think, one of the houses, and has put up hoop houses, high tunnel greenhouses on one of them. And they're what they do is they teach people basic skills about gardening, and they can garden on these vacant lots, and then they collectively pool all their produce together. It's kind of like a co-op, and then they go ahead and then market the produce. So it provides helpful jobs for these people, and improves their lives. And he's also a dealer for an implement company that specializes in making small implements to fit in, very small spots. You can't use large tractors and equipment on these small pieces of land. So he has these pieces of equipment as well. So he's going to be talking about his aspect of the whole project. His wife is going to talk about the Southern Organic Female Farmers Association. And then I will give some brief updates on my asparagus work, particularly noting the work that I've done with fungicides last year, and showing how and why it pays to spray fungicides in the late summer and into the fall. And I've seen dramatic yield increases in my trial plots by tightening up the fungicide spray schedule, going from spraying once every 2 weeks to once every week. This gave a 50% yield increase the following year.
Wow.
So I'll be talking about that, and then also give an update on the pawpaw, looking at now 2 seasons of work with the pawpaw trial. So that will be it.
Well, one thing about the specialty crop school would be if maybe you would just necessarily be interested in getting something going on your own. If you go and listen to these different speakers, it may spawn an idea in your head
Exactly.
that you could make work, and
that's
grow.
and that's the most important. Yeah.
And a lot of times, I think we're all guilty of not thinking of certain things until we have other people mention certain things, and then you kind of come up with different ideas and things. And so that would be a great idea for you to attend if possible. And I would love to be able to attend, but I will not be able to on that particular date. But it would really be, nice to just talk about how some of these things, kind of, people come up with the ideas and actually turn that idea into a reality.
Yeah, how they evolve. Yeah.
Yeah. Carl, while talking about the couple from Henderson, it's not that many places here in Roxborough that I'm aware of, but it would be neat in some of the open land that's maybe available in the city that is not being used. It would be neat for like a community garden or something like that, and
Right.
and that would help teach people a lot of things. And how does the old expression it go? Give a man a fish, feed him for one meal, teach him to fish, and feed him for life.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah.
We are live in the studio today, 336-599-0266. 336-599-0266 is the telephone number. we're going to be talking about vegetable gardening in North Carolina. But before we get into that, Carl, you were a little bit late getting to the radio station this morning.
Mm-hmm. Dash and Dan.
Well, I was beginning to become a little bit worried.
Oh, yeah?
And the worry was I thought maybe you had won some big money on the lottery drawing from a few days ago.
No chance.
And just kind of said the heck with the radio station. But you did come through. But
yeah.
But did you have a ticket?
No.
Well, you were the smarter of the two, because I had 2 tickets and didn't win anything, so I was out of $4.
Oh, well.
But anyway, we'll jump right in, and here it is, pretty much in the dead middle of January. It's the 15th. And I know a lot of people may think that we're crazy talking about vegetable gardening, but it's not going to be very long before a lot of people will be starting doing vegetable plants, start seeding them inside.
That's right.
And it won't be long after that before they will be transplanting them outside. So if you could kind of plan ahead, that could save you a lot of trouble down the road.
That's right. And I guess the first thing to talk about is now, especially if the temperatures turn colder, and it looks like they're really going to take a nosedive, that gets people starting to really want to start vegetable seeds indoors. But the word of caution is to, put the brakes on, hold your horses. Don't rush and start seeding right away, because if you do, you're going to have transplants that are going to grow really fast, and you're not going to be able to put them out until later on, and by that time they're going to be tall and leggy. So basically, you want to wait until for the cool season vegetables like cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli. You want to wait to seed those until early March. Those can be seeded earlier than the warm season vegetables. If you seed cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli in early March, then it takes 4 to 6 weeks to produce a good transplant. Then you can put them out relatively soon. Whereas the tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant, you want to wait until later because they take a longer period of time. Actually, I misspoke. Actually, you can start with cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli in early February, so that you can set those out in early to mid-March. Then start your tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant in early to mid-March, to set them out in early May.
The cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli can, withstand cooler temperatures better than the other vegetables that Carl made mention of. Well, Carl, one thing that I think we certainly need to kind of stress to drive the point home, even though it is cold weather and it's going to get colder, as you said, over the next week or so. We all want, spring to get here and warm things up. And a lot of times, just depending on the season, it may be one year that you could have planted things a couple of weeks earlier than the previous year, but then sometimes it may be to where it may be a couple of weeks later, depending on the season.
Exactly, and that's why you want to look at our what we call our mean frost-free date. Do we have anybody there?
We do.
Okay.
We sure do.
All right, we'll take a call.
Good morning. Thank you for calling the Gardener's Corner program.
Good morning. Enjoy your program. Got an apple tree question. I've got I don't know how the apple tree volunteered, but it's growing over a little shed now that I want to cut the limbs back. Is this a good time to do it, or wait later, or kind of prune it up and get it? It's a tin roof, and like I said, the thing, when I put the building there, the apple tree won't nothing. And Now, like I said, it's ungrown, and don't know what kind of apples they are, but they're over the roof. And I said, well, I got to get them cut back.
I would wait until late February if it's an apple tree. That should be fine.
Late February. Oh,
Yeah.
I think that's when I do my knockout rose bushes too.
Okay.
Okay, so that's all about the same time. Okay, well, I really enjoy your program. And Rob, I got some of them sweet potatoes.
Oh, well, good. Well, I'm glad it worked out for you.
Yeah. All right. Well, y'all have a good day.
Thanks
Hey,
for
you
calling.
too. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good day.
Bye.
That was a good question, and I was going to make a comment about pruning. I happened to see some people doing some pruning work earlier this week, and I wanted to stop and say, you may want to hold off a little bit on that because many times when you prune too early, you will, more or less start spring growth, so to speak, and you can, cause overwinter damage. But, there again, it all depends on the season. If you kind of wait, until late February, early March to do your pruning, pretty much no matter what the season is, you'll be okay. But now it could turn out after the next week or so to be a warm winter, and those people that pruned early will maybe be okay. But it's like Carl was starting to say, you need to try to plan everything as far as planning after the frost-free dates, and that's typically around when, Carl,
Okay,
here in this area.
It's April 15th, but that's called the mean frost-free date. That means you still have a 50% chance of frost on April 15th. It's not until the first week of May that we're pretty much out of the woods as far as the date to go ahead and either plant warm season vegetables by seed or set out warm season vegetable transplants, tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants. So you definitely do not want to plant the warm season vegetables until the first week of May. So don't let the April 15th date fool you. There's still plenty of chance of frost that's going to occur on April 15th.
Carl, the gentleman was talking about the apple tree growing up by his building, and I have noticed that a lot of times, any kind of vegetation that is close by the drip of a building seems to grow really well, and I guess it's because of the
good supply of water.
Supply, yes, and so that certainly, maybe would attribute to the apple tree growing the way it is. But Carl, a quick question about with vegetable gardening. When you are planning all these different things, is it any type of guide or anything that is available that would give you some idea about how long it would take to get your transplant started from seed, and then after transplant, how long before harvest?
Yeah, it's in our vegetable gardening guide, which I'll be bringing up here in the slides that I have here. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. As far as vegetable gardening is concerned, I'll bring up a few points for people to get started, and especially if you're a beginner, it's always good to start off with a garden that's small. Don't get over anxious and plant something very large that you might it might be difficult for you to take care of. So for beginners, start off with maybe 25 square feet. Remember that all vegetables like full sun, no less than 6 hours a day. 8 to 10 hours are actually ideal. Put your garden close to the home, where it's located close to a water source. All vegetables require water because most vegetables are over 90% water. So you have to give them water in order to harvest water, you might say. Nature has a very keen ability to stack water in produce. Good soil drainage is essential. We don't want heavy, wet clay soils that can cause root rotting fungus diseases. The better the soil drainage is, the more successful you're going to be. locate on high ground with good air drainage. Now, as far as planting the garden, we do have our home vegetable gardening publication available to you from the Extension office. Just give us a call at 336-599-1195, and we'll be happy to mail this one out to you. Inside the publication is a good chart that shows you the type of vegetable, the amount of seed or transplants that you need, the suggested varieties, the planting dates, distance between plants in the row, distance between rows, and all of these good things that you need to have. So once you have this information, it's a good idea to make a map and just write in what kinds of vegetables you want to plant, and you can put your spacings in. So this way, you're not wasting any space, you're not wasting any seed or transplants. You know exactly the amount of materials you'll need to buy.
Carl, with the vegetable planting guide offered by the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service, does it give an idea of how many tomato plants, how many cucumbers or squash plants you would need, say, for a family of 3 or 4?
Yeah.
It does do all that. So that's very helpful, and no need planting more than you need, because you'll be surprised that if you look after something, how much a small area will produce if looked after.
That's right, and there's been even some statistics put together. Just looking through the literature, I found one person, I forget what university she was at, but she calculated that for a 10 foot by 10 foot garden, that's only 100 square feet. That's per square foot, the amount of produce that you can grow in 1 square foot is equal to 88 cents. So in 100 square feet, that the value of the produce in that 100 square foot piece of land would be $88.
Yeah.
So that's what she came up with, looking at other people's work and kind of trying to bring it all together.
We'll be back in just a few minutes here on the Gardener's Corner program. We're going to take a trip out to T.G. Brooks Company and stop in. As I said at the beginning of the show, T.G. Brooks carries a lot of different products, and you need to stop in and see them sometimes. We'll take a trip to T.G. Brooks Company in Timberlake.
T.G. Brooks Company wishes you a successful 2016. We probably will get a taste of real winter and cold winter days and nights in January, and that suggests a trip to T.G. Brooks Company, 413 Helena Mariah Road in Timberlake. Cold weather needs are found like furnace filters, stovepipe and stove mats, wood stoves, pipe insulation, plastic to put around your windows. You will find water heater elements, thermostats, pressure relief valves, ice melt, bird seed in 10, 25, and 50-pound bags, and sunflower and black oil seeds. There are shovels in case we have some ice and snow. They have wedges, axes, and mauls for getting stove wood ready. They have gloves that are lined and unlined in leather and cloth. They're your first choice for well pumps and piping when water problems occur, with a selection of submersible and top-of-the-ground jet pumps, pipe, pump wire, and pipe fittings. They also carry cast-iron cookware, and they fill propane gas bottles. Plenty of that famous Pride dog food, several varieties, and 100% kiln-dried cedar shavings. You might need an outdoor thermometer. Plan to spend a little time at T.G. Brooks Company now talking about warmer days in a couple of months and getting information on your future lawn and garden plans. In a couple of months, we'll be talking about putting out pre-emergent weed control. Come to the place people like to shop from all over the region. A local, friendly family business that has been faithful to the homeowner, farmer, and construction worker since 1936. Phone anytime you need advice at 364-2428. After all is said and done, you get a generous portion of those hand-cut ribeye steaks. Prepare them the way you like them, pop them on your grill, and enjoy a delicious treat right away. Everything works out when you have a T.G. Brooks Day. No week is complete without a visit to T.G. Brooks Company in Timberlake.
Here we are back on the Gardener's Corner program. My name is Rob Hall. Mr. Carl Cantalupi of the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service is our resident expert. Carl actually divides his time between Person and Granville counties, and we're talking about vegetable gardening in North Carolina. And we'll get back into that in just a little bit. But Carl, what is the turnaround time now for the soil sample results?
About 3 weeks right now.
About 3 weeks. So even though it's $4 per sample fee to have your soil sampled or tested, I should say, it's still a great bargain to go ahead and get your soil samples in.
Yes,
and
it is.
you'll get the results back in time that you can get your fertilizer, lime, whatever is necessary to get your gardening off to a good start. And you certainly, whenever you play a game, you want to have the playing field level, and that's a great way to do it is with the soil samples.
That's right. Okay. Whoops, wrong screen here. Hang on. Okay.
There it goes.
Just a little mention of, if you're starting to garden for the first time, some items that you definitely need. A shovel. This is good to turn the soil, and it incorporates organic matter into the soil very easily. A digging fork would be helpful to loosen the soil. It's also good to dig potatoes with. A rake, an iron rake, to smooth out the soil, remove stones, and the back of the hoe handle, or I'm saying no, the back of the rake itself can be used to smooth the seed bed before you plant seeds, and then compact the soil over the seed for better germination. I was going to say the handle of the hoe is good for marking out rows as well. The hoe can be a common one, pointed or scuffle hoe. I should have a picture of this, but I don't know if you know what a scuffle hoe is.
I was going to ask you. I'm not sure.
No, okay, it's a piece of metal that's kind of it's kind of open. It's a strip of metal that's made and wound up in kind of a oval rectangular shape, and you push it, and you can push it and pull it. So it's kind of you accomplish eliminating weeds by kind of a push-pull stroke, and I'll have to show a picture of that one, but that's very, very handy. I like actually that one better than the common one. But anyway, long handle cultivator is useful to break up clods. A trowel can dig holes for transplants. Irrigation equipment, such as a watering can, garden and soaker hoses, sprinklers if you want, and drip irrigation is probably the most efficient way to water, where it's watering small amounts of water at the base of the plant, and you're not spraying the plants. Why do people garden? Well, it's a relaxing hobby. It brings a sense of joy and accomplishment, can reduce your family's food budget, and you can grow vegetables that are hard to find in the grocery store. And you'll have vegetables that have superior taste, quality, and freshness. Now, another thing to have, and the organic gardeners probably wouldn't want to do this, but if you want to win the battle against insects and diseases, two items that you need to have, or I should say one item is a compressed air sprayer. The one on the left is a tank sprayer. The one on the right is a backpack sprayer. It's very important to have two separate sprayers, one for insecticides and fungicides and another separate one for herbicides. You never want to mix the two together. Never use a sprayer to put on insecticides or fungicides when when you previously had herbicides in there. It's one good fast way to kill your vegetables.
Well, Carl, if it does come down that you only have one spray to serve the different purposes, it should be at least triple rinsed, if not more, correct?
Yes, and then there's various compounds that you can buy actually to clean the sprayer. There's commercial products that you can buy. You can also add what works well is a little bit of ammonia in water, and then pump that through the sprayer. That works well. But with sprayers, as they get older, they might get little nicks in it or bumps in it, and or if you have a metal sprayer, they'll get dents in it. The reason I mention that is that herbicides like 2,4-D, they adhere to these rough surfaces, and it makes them very difficult to get out of the tank.
Well, and you know, Carl, as relatively inexpensive as a lot of these sprayers are,
Yeah.
if you figure your time and effort of cleaning one sprayer out, you know, to use it for something else, you're better off to have a couple of different sprayers.
Yeah, the
And
plastic ones are very
Yeah,
inexpensive.
and that'll save you a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you can just, you know, use one, as Carl said, again, use one for like fungicides and pesticides, and then a separate one for herbicides.
That's right. That's right. Other things that are useful: a string and stakes to make the row, to mark the row. A lot easier to mark a row, and you'll have a nice straight vegetable row. Although some people said you'll get more planted in a crooked row.
I was getting ready to say that.
I saw the look on your face. That's right. Yardstick is helpful. Wheelbarrow or garden cart. A wheel cultivator. A whirlybird spreader to spread fertilizer. Two things that are optional. A seed planter that you can put the seeds in, and then they have different plates that are made for each different size vegetable seed. And rototiller I put as optional, because if you just have a small space, it might be very much cost effective if you have a neighbor that you could borrow one or even rent one, rather than to put out a lot of money for a tiller right at the outset. Fertilizing the garden. It's always good to add organic matter to loosen clays or tighten up sandy soils. And especially if you sow a cover crop of rye or wheat from mid-September to mid-October at a rate of 3 pounds per 1,000 square feet, this cover crop starts to grow, and then this can be tilled under in the spring before you plant. Soil test once at least every other year to know where your soil pH is, so that you know your nutrients are going to be available to your plants. We can apply fertilizer by either broadcasting the fertilizer over a tilled up area before we plant and then tilling it in. Or once the crop is growing, we can do a practice known as banding, applying fertilizer as a band or a side dressing about 6 inches away from the plant stem. So these are the kinds of things you need to know before you start. We'll touch on here a little bit on starting plants from seed. If you're going to do it indoors, you have to choose what types of containers you use. You can use plastic flats, Speedling styrofoam flats, peat pots, or Jiffy 7 compressed peat pellets. Again, if you're starting them indoors, and again, the best time to do that for cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli is to plant the seed indoors in early February, which really is not that too far away, about a month away, or less than a month, a couple of weeks. Right, because you want 4 to 6 weeks to produce a good size transplant of cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli. And it's not until early March that we want to direct seed, or I should say seed tomato, pepper, and eggplant seed indoors, not until early March. And so some people might be surprised, and they'll say, wow, that's late. But it really isn't, because about 6 weeks or so, 6 to 8 weeks, that's the time it takes. And if you start tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant from seed now, they're going to be way too tall to set out by early May.
And you know, Carl, something about else if you set plants out too early, even though we may not get cold damaging weather, if it's cold, they're not going to actively grow outside as they would inside where it's warmer.
That's right. Warm season vegetables, tomato, eggplant, peppers, sweet potatoes, they just flat out will not grow until that soil temperature is warm. So you're only fooling yourself thinking that you're going to, really get an early start on gardening by planting warm season vegetables in the ground when the soil temperatures are too cold. There's nothing that you can do to speed up that process. Well, I do take that back. If you want to be the first person in town to have the first red ripe tomato, you can use structures like the Wall of Waters. These are these fluted plastic sheets that are kind of glued together, and then they have pockets. You can pour water in them that form pockets all the way around the plant, and it's a clear plastic, so it does help to keep that atmosphere warm. But theoretically you can do it, and then if there's a frost, you can cover it with blankets or such. But always better to wait until it gets warm.
And Carl just mentioned, about covering your plants. If you want to take a chance and plant some things early, just go ahead of time and make sure that you've got, some things that you could cover your plants with, instead of waiting to hear that it's going to be real cold for the next few nights and then having to scrounge up his stuff. But if you've got these things ready, available, but don't try to be the first in town to have the red tomato, because you may be one of the first ones in town that has tomato plants to get frostbite and die.
Yeah.
So just hold off a little bit and just kind of wait until due time and go ahead and get started. So planting a vegetable garden is like the roll of the dice, and the earlier you plant it in the season, the more of a chance you're taking. But if you wait till things get a little bit warmer and better, you'll have greater success.
Right, and we have between 180 and 200 growing days here. So we have an awfully long season here. So there's no need to rush right out there, especially with warm season vegetables when the temperatures are still too cold. We've got plenty of time for vegetables to mature, and with many vegetables we can have a crop in the spring and another crop in the fall, such as with the cold crops, cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli. And you can make later plantings of beans and cucumbers and squash, because you're only looking at 30 to 40 days for those plants, and so you can really stagger those plantings out and get a really good succession of harvest throughout the season.
Well, Carl, I know you had said several weeks ago that you had planted some spinach, and I think you said that about what is the grand temperature for
40, only 40 degrees.
So could people maybe take a chance and plant spinach now?
They could, yeah, because the cold weather, the snow, the ice, and the cold and freezing temperatures won't bother them. As long as they're covered with soil and insulated, they'll be fine. Those and English peas as well.
Well, now, how crazy would it be for people to purchase a ground thermometer?
Oh, that's a very wise decision. They're very inexpensive, and you put it in the ground about 4 inches deep, and you can monitor soil temperatures that way. And this is a real good tool, especially ones that people that want to put on granular pre-emergence herbicides in their lawn to control crabgrass. If you wait until the soil temperature gets to about 55 degrees and it stays there for 3 consecutive days, you're right in the time period where crabgrass seed will germinate. And then if you put down your herbicides, you'll get the most effective use of that herbicide.
Well, as far as purchasing a ground thermometer, just any local gardening store
Sure,
should have
sure.
it?
They should be fairly easily available.
Well, now, Carl, what about planting fruit trees and things like that? It will soon be the time to do that. Is that correct?
Yeah, if you're buying dormant trees from a mail order nursery, you can just anytime now you get them in, you can put them in the ground as long as the roots are covered. They'll be fine. Then you'll get the plant acclimated to the cold temperatures, and they should do fine. Ordering fruit trees from a mail order nursery, you want to be sure that you order from a reputable one. If you need some sources, we have a list of fruit tree nurseries at the extension office we can give to you. Give us a call at 599-1195. And many times it's better to buy from a mail order nursery. They have a very wide selection of varieties, and many nurseries participate in usually with their State Department of Agriculture. They have to be inspected, so they have disease-free plants and all those good things.
Okay. We're going to squeeze another word in for T.G. Brooks Company, and we'll be back to wrap it up on the Gardener's Corner program. But we are live in the studio today, 336-599-0266. And anyway, it's Friday, January 15th, so give us a call if you've got a question. We'll have time for your phone calls right after a word from T.G. Brooks Company.
T.G. Brooks Company wishes you a successful 2016. We probably will get a taste of real winter and cold winter days and nights in January, and that suggests a trip to T.G. Brooks Company, 413 Helena Maria Road in Timberlake. Cold weather needs are found like furnace filters, stovepipe and stove mats, wood stoves, pipe insulation, plastic to put around your windows. You will find water heater elements, thermostats, pressure relief valves, ice melt, bird seed in 10, 25, and 50-pound bags, and sunflower and black oil seed. There are shovels in case we have some ice and snow. They have wedges, axes, and mauls for getting stove wood ready. They have gloves that are lined and unlined in leather and cloth. They're your first choice for well pumps and piping when water problems occur, with a selection of submersible and top-of-the-ground jet pumps, pipe, pump wire, and pipe fittings. They also carry cast iron cookware, and they fill propane gas bottles. Plenty of that famous Pride dog food, several varieties, and 100% kiln-dried cedar shavings. You might need an outdoor thermometer. Plan to spend a little time at T.G. Brooks Company now talking about warmer days in a couple of months and getting information on your future lawn and garden plans. In a couple of months, we'll be talking about putting out pre-emergent weed control. Come to the place people like to shop from all over the region. A local, friendly family business that has been faithful to the homeowner, farmer, and construction worker since 1936. Phone anytime you need advice at 364-2428. After all is said and done, you get a generous portion of those hand-cut ribeye steaks. Prepare them the way you like them, pop them on your grill, and enjoy a delicious treat right away. Everything works out when you have a T.G. Brooks day. No week is complete without a visit to T.G. Brooks Company in Timberlake.
Here we are back on the Gardener's Corner program. My name is Rob Hall, Mr. Carl Cantalupi, our resident expert from the Cooperative Extension Service. We've been talking about vegetable gardening in North Carolina, and Carl has made mention about a publication that is free of charge available through the Cooperative Extension Service, Vegetable Gardening in Person County and Granville County, and surrounding areas. If you would like one of these publications, you can call either the Person County Cooperative Extension's office at 336-599-1195 or the Granville County office at 919-603-1350. And you can request these publications. and they can either U.S. mail them to you or email them to you. And Carl, you can also log on to a website and download your own. Is that correct?
Yeah, if you go to the Extension Services website, which is www.ces.ncsu.edu, you can download any publications that are put out by NC State University. Again, that website address is www.ces, stands for Cooperative Extension Service, .ncsu, North Carolina State University, .edu. And you can navigate through that site and you can pull up just about anything that you like.
So again, that is just tell me the website one more time.
www.ces.ncsu.edu. So
Excuse me.
yeah, so that's there, and we used to keep a lot of hard copies in the office, but now with the internet being around, it's so easy to print on demand that and a lot of times when people even come into the office, we'll print it off on from the computer. So we just don't have the storage space anymore to store hard copies of everything.
Well, and it's cheaper,
Yeah.
keeping it on the computer. So again, you can call either the Person County or Granville County offices, excuse me, and request these publications. Or again, you can log on to the website. Carl, we got just a couple of minutes. Any parting remarks at this time?
Yeah, just keep your, as we used to say, keep your eyes peeled. I remember saying that to my son once when he was little. He said, "Dad, how can you peel your eyes?" For fruit tree pruning demonstration dates, they'll be coming up in the future, and we'll definitely do one in person and one in Granville. So we'll let you know about that soon.
So again, to request publications, you can contact your local Cooperative Extension Service office, or again, that website address, Carl?
www.ces.ncsu.edu.
All kind of publications on there that you would find very useful and helpful. Everything on how to start a compost pile, also how to construct a greenhouse.
That's right.
The list just continues on and on.
Have something for everybody.
Special thanks goes out to all of our viewers and listeners of the Gardener's Corner program. We appreciate the support of T.G. Brooks Company, in business since 1936 in Timberlake. Also, a big thanks going out to the big kahuna himself, Mr. Carl Cantalupi. Appreciate
Thanks, Rob.
him sharing his knowledge. And we want to wish you and yours a happy and safe weekend. I know it's a holiday weekend for a lot of people. A lot of people will be off of work Monday in observance of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. But we invite you to be in tune next Friday for another edition of the Gardener's Corner program. So on behalf of Mr. Carl Cantalupi and myself, Rob Hall, we hope you have a good week.